Hi there, I am Dr. Natasha Ross and I am a lecturer and researcher at the Chemistry Department of the University of the Western Cape. I started my studies at the University of the Western Cape soon after I matriculated in 2005. I registered for a BSc Chemical Science degree, which is basically a 3-year degree during which I had to complete 7 modules. These included chemistry, which was my core module, followed by mathematics, statistics, computer literacy, environmental sciences, biotechnology, as well as English literacy. When I successfully completed my first degree, I was so excited. I just wanted to take my diploma and change the world. But I soon realized that the job market is extremely competitive. And in order to set myself above the rest, I would have to obtain an honors degree as well. So I didn't hesitate, and immediately after my first degree, I registered for an honors degree, which is basically a 1-year degree during which you will complete only chemistry advanced modules. After I completed my honors degree, I realized that I completely love science. I just want to continue. So I decided to register for a master's degree, which will then require me to study an additional 2 years. But I was so in love with working in the lab and doing experiments and learning new things that I spent most of my time in the laboratory, that instead of completing it in 2 years, I managed to do it in 1 year. So I was completely chuffed with myself, but I realized I didn't want to stop there. I was already in the game, in the research. So I wanted to go for the big degree, the final one, the highest degree that you can obtain, and the title as well. So I decided to complete my PhD. So many have asked me, why a PhD? So for me, a PhD is all about discovering new things, creating new knowledge, and developing my skills. And a PhD is about contributing towards the knowledge economy. And it gave me an opportunity to invest in knowledge, to create new knowledge, and to spend more time in a specific area of chemistry, which I loved the most, and that was analytical chemistry. So the topic and the focus of my doctorate degree was energy, to improve the energy storage capacity of lithium ion batteries, as well as the efficiency of solar cells. In essence, my research is strongly motivated by the current energy crisis of South Africa, especially load shedding, and I hope that the research that I do within the laboratory will somehow reduce the load of the national energy grid and improve the quality of life of so many South Africans out there. I wish to one day see that every South African is able to use renewable energy more efficiently and effectively, and not rely on coal-fired power plants anymore. Looking back now, I must confess that being a student is not easy, not at all. I had to sacrifice so many things in order to obtain 3 degrees and the title of doctor. But I'm grateful. I'm truly grateful that I didn't have it easy. I'm grateful for the tough times, because all the experiences I've had as a student over the years at the University of the Western Cape has made me the person that I am today. It has helped develop my character and helped me to best handle the stresses and challenges of life. I had to constantly remind myself that there's no shortcuts to success, and that's my motto even today as an academic. I grew up in a small impoverished community where there were little to no opportunities, and I knew that education will be the one thing that will help me rise above my circumstances. In school, I decided to spend more time focusing on my learning and understanding, especially chemistry and mathematics, because I knew that was 2 of the main requirements in order to study chemistry at the University of the Western Cape. I didn't have tutors or mentors and fancy textbooks, but what I had was my dream of becoming a scientist and making a difference in the world out there. So that kept me motivated and inspired, and I just became more proactive in my learning. I was always inspired by the quote of Nelson Mandela when he said that there is no passion to be found in playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one that you are capable of living. So I didn't want to settle for a life that is not the one that I'm capable of living. I wanted to be someone that can make a difference in the world of my fellow South Africans. So the same today, I am aware that many of you are struggling because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and during this time you are unable to sustain your learning during the lockdown period. But I earnestly plead with you today to relinquish your fears and just change your mindset, because the ball is in your court. It's all up to you. You have to become proactive in your learning. Spend more time in your books. It's not easy, yes. If you want to pass and still make the best of this year, it's possible, but it's up to you. No one is going to do the work if you are not going to do it. So please don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you can do with what you have right now, and not what someone else can do for you. Because at the end of the day, you have to point the finger to yourself and say, what have I done to improve my life? Don't develop a wait and see approach, sitting back and making excuses because of what you cannot do or what you don't have because of COVID-19. No, I used to learn that when you make an excuse, it's because you don't want to do it. And at the end of the day, it's not going to help you very much. So the sooner you start taking responsibility for your learning, the better. Use your time wisely. Make use of every resource you have in order to improve your understanding in a particular subject so that you can pass with high grades. I'm sure many of you are dreaming of studying at a university of your choosing one day, but that's not going to happen if you are going to sit back and wait for better days. You have to earn the high grades. You have to make the most of the time that you have now. Speaking from my own experience, I can truly say that once you do more than what is required, you will have success. That will open up so many doors in your life because you are proactive. You don't wait around for someone to tell you to do something. You are enthusiastic about what you want to do with your future. So I want to leave you with these words of William Henley. And he said that I am the master of my fate and I am the captain of my soul. So just remember, before you make excuses the next time, think about the choices that you are making and know that you don't have much time left in high school. The real world is tough. So you better start now to develop that proactive nature of thinking and learning, because no one else is going to give you handouts in life. If you want to make it, if you want to improve your area, your life, you can do it. Don't wait for someone else to do it for you. Many of you know the third law of physics, the third law of Newton, that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So remember that whatever you put in, the energy that you give it, is going to come back to you. You will reap the rewards of your labor and the effort that you put in. So I wish you the best. And I hope that I will see you in my chemistry class in the next few years. Bye.
Dear students, it's really a pleasure to be able to speak to you today and to be able to leave you with a message, because you guys are the future and you guys are going to carry us into the future, and you must always remember that the world is at your feet and that you can do anything you set your mind to. So who am I? I'm Shane Willenberg. I am currently completing my PhD at the University of the Western Cape, Chemistry Department. I started studying in the year 2012, and I decided to pursue a career in science because, let's face it, science is fun. Also very challenging, very daunting, but I was inspired by my high school teacher to do better, to make a change in this world. She could always provide answers to my inquisitive mind, and her name is Wendy Warren, and she is currently still inspiring young kids just like yourself to do better. So I was always passionate, always wanted to know how things work, and I'm currently at the forefront of new age technologies, which I will speak a little bit about later. So let me get to it. So I'll take you through briefly how I started my career, and we'll take it from there. So in first year, I had chosen science subjects, obviously, physics, mathematics, computer science, and I found it not easy, but I could easily, I could really go through the year without too much pressure on my back, because I had a good background from high school, and the work was very similar, with minor challenges here and there, and I could kind of study like not too long in advance for my tests, exams, and basically get by with minimal effort. And then second year started, and I employed that same mindset that I can just do it because I'm kind of smart. But I learned quite a harsh lesson in that you can't get through life by just doing the least, and the work piled up. I had more and more work, and I had to put in more effort, and I realized that I'm always behind on my assignments and tests, and things got very difficult, even to the point where I eventually failed a subject and I had to redo it, which was quite a setback. In hindsight, I think about it as a learning curve, a big learning curve, and a good thing that actually happened. But at the time, of course, it was very disappointing to myself, my family, and I realized that actually in life you will go through failures, and no matter at what point you are. But the main thing is to not let that keep you down. Quickly brush it off. Fix what you must fix, be it within your studies, within your personal life, within relationships, and then push on, because I also realized that you are your worst enemy. And once I realized that, I was able to quickly redo the subject that I failed, apply myself, and because I had the mindset to get through it with whatever it takes, because at the time because I failed, I had to do an extra subject. So it was I was doing my third year subjects with a second year subject, and it wasn't easy, of course, but because I had the drive to complete what I started, and I was still passionate, I just realized that this is just a setback. It taught me many things, to deal with these kind of disappointments, and to get up from where I fell. So even for you guys, if you struggle through schooling, even in matric, maybe failed a subject or two, it's not the end of the world. You could always do the supplementaries in March and June, I think it is, and then you can get a bursary. I always one of my biggest regrets actually is not working hard enough in grade 11 in order to get a bursary in grade 12, because some universities were already offering bursaries to the grade 12 learners, and that actually motivated me to work hard in grade 12 so that I can get a bursary in first year, which I did. I think you get a 100% rebate if you get an A for matric, and you get 75% rebate if you get a B. So yes, I managed to get a bursary there, and I was glad because it took some pressure off my parents as well, as things are not always easy at home, and I was able to also get a bursary in second year, third year. The university offers different bursary packages depending on what you did. I always did sport, so my involvement in sport at a provincial and national level also allowed me to get bursaries, and of course you have to pass and do well in order to maintain those bursaries. So yes, I believe that balance is very important. So it doesn't matter what you do, pick up a hobby that keeps you motivated, keeps you going, because if you only focus on your studies, you'll get days which you just feel super unmotivated, you don't want to do anything, and that's when you can do your hobby, and then you'll get back to it. And this really helped me throughout my period of studies. I still have many hobbies. I do sports, I do chess, I do cricket, and yes, there's nothing wrong with that. I also believe that with this balance comes good. You're able to plan, to manage your time. Also, one thing that I realized is important as a student is to plan a schedule. So this schedule doesn't. A lot of people think that a schedule kind of keeps you confined, puts you in a sort of box or prison. But actually, if you follow it, and you don't have to plan it like step by step. You can, in between, you can put there what you want, the things you want. If you want to watch CDs for an hour during the day, you can do it, but you just need to know that you would need to follow that up. Or before doing that, you could also reward yourself with the CDs or the box of chocolates or whatever, once you've completed your work, your assignment, or the couple of chapters that you completed studying that day. So it's always good as a student to reward yourself. So after my minor setback in second year, I completed my undergraduate degree with decent marks in order to do honors, and I did honors and eventually masters. And with that, I was able to think about how I was to give myself a platform to choose how I want to impact this world, how I want to make a difference, or where I see myself making this difference. So I chose sustainable energy because we face it every day. We have these issues since from the time I can remember. of load shedding. We never know when it's going to hit us. And if you look into other countries on the African continent, it's even worse. So we would kind of have scheduled load shedding. Other countries would have unscheduled load shedding, which goes on for days, even weeks. And I hope to change this in a big way or small way, but through my work in energy storage technologies, I look to hopefully create a system where we can eventually move off from the national grid, move away from coal or nuclear, but look for more natural ways to store energy from, let's say, wind or solar energy, and to use this for our households or our businesses. And in this way we will be able to be more sustainable and not impact the environment the way it's being impacted. I mean, if we were to all change from internal combustion cars to electric vehicles, we would reduce the impact on our atmosphere by about 50%. So that's just an example. So currently I'm working on lithium ion batteries for different applications, really, but mainly to improve its capacity, and energy density, because lithium is relatively cheap and it's widely available, and our country is also very minerally rich. So the materials I'm using are contained within our country and are able to, and the synthesis, the way I'm making my materials, I look to use the cheapest methods, and mainly to improve the capacities of this material. Wouldn't it be great if our phones could charge even quicker, if we could, and they could last much longer? And wouldn't it be great if we wouldn't have to pay so much for petrol to put into our cars, but we could instead use long-range electric vehicles which use lithium-ion batteries, and won't damage the atmosphere? This is the ideal world. So I look to use my knowledge and expertise in this field. I look up to a very famous tech giant entrepreneur, Elon Musk. He's always been someone. He's South African. There's always been someone who I've looked up to, who I followed on social media. I read his book, and he currently is the CEO of Tesla Motors, and it's an electric car company. And one day, hopefully, if he establishes a branch in South Africa, I hope to join that company and to start producing electric vehicles, so that we don't need to spend so much money on fuel. Very soon we'll be paying 20 rand a litre. Who knows? But electric cars are obviously much cheaper, and they'll be able to last much longer. So I really hope that you guys can also find your niche and follow it. It doesn't have to be science, but as long as you enjoy it, and as long as you are passionate about what you do, the world is really your oyster. I leave you with a quote. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Elon Musk. Thank you.